In ancient India, there lived a young woman named Kisagotami. She was married and had a young child whom she loved dearly. One day, tragedy struck as her child fell ill, and despite all efforts to save him, he passed away. Kisagotami was overwhelmed with grief. She refused to accept that her child was gone and carried his lifeless body from house to house, begging everyone she met to bring her child back to life. Finally, someone advised Kisagotami to seek out the Buddha, who they said possessed great wisdom and compassion. Desperate and clinging to hope, Kisagotami went to find the Buddha. When she saw him, she fell at his feet, clutching her child's body, and pleaded with him to bring her child back to life. The Buddha looked at Kisagotami with compassion and said gently, "I can help you, but first, you must bring me a mustard seed from a household where no one has died." Relieved that there was hope, Kisagotami eagerly set out on her task. She went from house to house, asking for a mustard seed. At each door, people were willing to give her mustard seeds, but when she asked if anyone in their household had never experienced death, she received the same response everywhere she went. Each household had experienced the loss of loved ones, parents, siblings, children, or friends. As Kisagotami continued her journey, she began to realize the universal nature of suffering and death. She saw that her grief was not unique and that death was an inevitable part of life. Gradually, the weight of her own sorrow began to ease as she confronted the reality of impermanence. After visiting many houses, Kisagotami returned to the Buddha empty-handed, but with a profound realization. She laid down her child's body before him and said, "I understand now, Lord. Death comes to us all. Please teach me the path to overcome grief and suffering." The Buddha smiled gently and began to teach Kisagotami about the nature of impermanence, suffering, and the way to liberation from suffering, the Four Noble Truths, and the Eightfold Path. Kisagotami listened attentively, absorbing the teachings with a heart that was now open and receptive. Deeply moved by the Buddha's wisdom and compassion, Kisagotami asked to become his disciple. Under the Buddha's guidance, she practiced meditation and mindfulness diligently. Over time, she gained deep insight into the true nature of existence and attained enlightenment. Kisagotami dedicated the rest of her life to spreading the Buddha's teachings. She traveled far and wide, sharing her story and helping others to find solace in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Her compassion and wisdom touched the lives of many, inspiring countless others on their own paths towards understanding and liberation. This story of Kisagotami's journey from profound grief to enlightenment illustrates the transformative power of the Buddha's teachings on impermanence, suffering, and the path to liberation. It emphasizes the universal nature of suffering and the potential for inner peace and wisdom through understanding and acceptance.